Okay. Now that I'm back, we're back. Yeah. Hopefully it stays up this time. Fear that I still have hiccups there. In any case, hello everybody again. Hello for round 2. Alright. Alright. Get a few people in here. Get started here in a few minutes. Alright. Hello, hello, hello. Hello again. We'll wait for a few more minutes, have a few more people come on in, and we'll get started here with the 11 o'clock class. Hey, Samantha. Good morning. Good morning, Sion. How are you? How are both of you? I hope you're doing well. Hey, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I hope you're doing really well. I hope you're really, really well this morning. It's a nice morning out, actually. It's nice and cool. Very nice and brisk morning here today. Hopefully, all of you are doing super, super well. See, easy time, easy life. Okay, that's how it works. That's how it works. Yeah. All right. We'll get started in one more minute here, and then we'll go ahead and get going here for today. All right. Yeah, I'll figure that out later. All right. It's fine. Okay. Yeah, just another minute or so, and then go ahead and do good things, and yeah. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get started here then. Alright. Okay, let's get started today. Welcome back to Tuesday. Hopefully, you have a nice weekend. So, today we are going to be talking about a few things. Well, let's talk about what we did last time. Last time, we went over section 1.8, which is talking about order of operations. We talked about parentheses, exponents, okay, multiply, divide, add, and subtract. So we are pretty hopefully comfortable with that idea. Today, as you can see up here, today we're going to be dealing with application problems, aka word problems. Okay, so I know not something that many people like, okay, with application problems, but what we're going to go over is finding keywords there in application problems and being able to, good morning, Chris. Um, uh, and to be able to solve those application problems. So one of the things, Robert, good morning. So one of the things that we talked about here before when we talked about word problems, um, you did the chapter 1 exam yesterday? Question mark. I haven't really posted the chapter 1 test yet. Yeah. I haven't posted the chapter 1 exam yet, actually. I'm a little confused about that. So solve. Yeah, I don't think I posted that yet. Yet, maybe I have to look that up again. So I need to. There's things that maybe I left it up there, or unless that was a review thing. So, but I'll talk about that here at the end of class. So one of the things we talked about here for application problems, we looked at two parts here. We said it just talks about interpretation and calculation. And with interpretation and calculation, we're going to focus more on the interpretation part here today. Okay, as is with most problems, we're going to focus on the interpretation part and then be able to calculate from there, what we want at the end of the day. Okay, so let's talk about how we can go ahead and proceed into doing so. Now, there's going to be two keys here as part of the process. Okay, the first thing that we want to look at here, and what is going to be important in any word problem, is your final answer. Now, you could do a problem here, you can interpret and calculate, but the one thing that you need to look at here is your answer a reasonable answer? Basically an answer that makes sense. So you basically want to look at the answer you got and see if it makes some common sense. If your answer doesn't make common sense, like for example, I said, well, I have $75 in my bank account and I worked and I made $50. How much do I have in my bank account? Well, I made $50 and put it in my bank account. Well, how much do I have? Well, I'm not going to say $25. The reason why is because I made money and I deposited it into my bank account. So $25 subtracting $50 doesn't make any sense. Okay, so I should have more money than the $75 that I started with if I deposited money into my bank account. Okay, so things like that, just as basically common sense at the end of the day, is really what we're after here in this particular instance. Okay, so we're going to be on the lookout here. That's the first key. The second key here is just to be on the lookout for keywords. Okay, want to be on the lookout for keywords. We're going to write out those keywords, talk about what operation that means, and then be able to put that together. Okay, so let's take a look here at first and foremost here reasonable answers. So let's talk about some tips and reasonable answers and whatnot. So in this particular section here on page 68 of the handout here, this talks about some steps about solving application problems, and there are several of them which are very important. First and foremost here, read the problem carefully. I can't stress this enough. If you need to read through the problem here several times, then read through the problem several times, okay, in order to get a full understanding. Sometimes, especially how things are written, changes the calculation of the problem. Okay, so you need to be very careful about how you read the problem here And then because, of course, the interpretation can change depending on which way that you particularly write that problem. So you need to be very careful about that. Again, using the second part here does says work out a plan. This is more of like using the keywords to get our interpretation. Okay, so that's what we're doing there. In that case, is using our keywords, get an interpretation, and then put it together. And then see if your answer here is going to be a reasonable answer based on the problem that we're given. Okay, the rest are pretty common sense things, but we're going to take a look at what reasonability means in these first three examples. So really quick, we're going to pick the most reasonable answer for each problem. So let's look at this first one here. Which one's the most reasonable for a grocery clerk's hourly wage? Is it $1.80 an hour, $18 an hour, or $180 per hour? Okay, 18, all right. Okay, $18 an hour. Okay, good, right? That makes sense. I mean, I know a grocery clerk actually doesn't make 18 bucks an hour. I know, but that would be the most reasonable answer amongst the three values here. Unless we're living in the 50s, $1.80 would make sense, and $180 an hour. Well, sign me up to work in the grocery store for life. So there you go. Yeah, $18 would be the most realistic. Let's look at the next one here. Total length of 5 SUVs. So if we parked it end to end here, 5 SUVs, what would be the most realistic length? 8, 18, 80, or 800 feet? Okay, 80 feet. 80 feet would be right, right? Now, SUVs are, pretty long vehicles, okay? Pretty long vehicles, and if you stack 5 of them end to end, on, let's say, a side street or something like that, then 80 feet would be probably the most reasonable. How about this last one here? The cost of heart bypass surgery would be $1,000, $100,000, or $10 million. $1,000, 100,000. Okay. All right. So $100,000. Yeah. So again, the most reasonable one here would be $100,000. Unfortunately, healthcare is rather expensive. I wish we could pay $1,000 for heart surgery, but sadly, $100,000 actually would probably be the cost because of how expensive hospitals are and healthcare is. So $100,000 is the most realistic in the United States. Though if I recall right, how much did my friend? My friend actually is my friend's a father, and he said when his wife was having his child, their first child, they said because he was living overseas, they charged him like $100 for the entire pregnancy. I was like, dang, man, it's amazing. Anyway, all right, let's go ahead and take a look at some examples here, and we're going to see exactly what some of those keywords are in order for us to solve some of these word problems. Okay, let's take a look at this first example here on the next page. So it says a community group raised $8,260 for charity. They divided the amount equally among the food bank, Children's Center, Boy Scouts of America, and the Women's Shelter. How much did each group receive? Okay, so let's take a look at this problem here. And the first thing that we need to figure out is what the keyword to this problem is, so it helps us set up the problem. So what is the keyword to this problem? Hi, Lich King. Correct. Good. So the keyword here is divided. All right, so we are dividing, again, we're dividing two values from each other here. So that's our keyword that we want to look at. We're dividing this amount equally between all these particular organizations. Okay, so let's take a look here. Well, how much money are we dividing? What's the total amount of money we're dividing here? So 8,260. Okay, very good. That's right. And we are going to divide that by 4 organizations. That is correct, right? So we have the Food Bank, the Children's Center, the Boy Scouts of America, and the Women's Shelter. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and see what we get here. Again, put the 4 here on the outside. Okay, oops. Go. So this is going to be 8260 here. All right, and that is the correct answer here. Again, just to show off the work here, which is going to be important. So you get 0 here, bring down the 2, bring the 0 here, goes no times, so again, you still get 2, get 26. 4 goes into 26 6 times, it's going to be 24. Bring that over, that's going to be 2, bring down the 0, and that's going to net us the 5 and the wipe out everything else. Okay, so $2,065 per organization is correct. All right. Are there any questions about that? Hopefully that's pretty easy. Do understand, why am I showing out the work here, by the way? I'm showing out the work here because I will have an expectation for you to show me the work here for the upcoming test. So this is kind of like how I would like you to show me that you know what you're doing here by writing out this work. Again, anybody can enter stuff in a calculator. That stuff's pretty easy. All right, but you're going to have to show me how you get there with writing out your work. So again, that's going to be pretty important. And I'll talk more about that near the end of class here today. So do keep that in mind. Okay. All right, next. Let's go ahead and do letter A. All right. So I want you guys to take a minute here, take a minute or two, and go ahead and try letter A here. And then once you have that, go ahead and type out your answer here. take a minute. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Very good. All right. So let's go over this problem here. So once again, we are going to divide, again, because they're divided equally. So doing that this way, let's take a look at what we get. So here in this particular instance, we're going to take our 84 fossils. Now we have total. We're going to divide it, in this case, 4 ways, because we have John, Sean, Jen, and Kara. So again, just do 84 divided by 4. And so here, indeed, we get 21. That part is true. So 21 here is the answer. Very good. Nice work. All right. Let's look at the next problem, next example. Okay. Let's look at number 3 here. 3A is what we'll look at. So it says, during the semester, Cindy received the following points on her exams and quizzes: 92, 81, 83, 98, 15, 14, 15, and 12. Find her total points for the semester. Oh, yes, a question. Sorry, Carissa. Apologies. Go ahead. How did they get the 8 under the 8? Ah, yes. Because 4 goes into 8 twice exactly. So 4 times 2 is the 8 here. So I did 8 minus 8 here for that. That's how I was able to get that. And I still bring the next number down regardless. So even if you get 0, you have to bring that next number down. Yeah. All right. Any other questions before we move forward? Hopefully that's okay. Nah, no problem. I'm here to help. Okay. So can anybody tell me in this example? Can anybody tell me in this example here, what's the key word here in this example? That's correct. Very good. The answer is indeed total. Great. All right. I totally agree with that. Now, let's think of an operator here. All right. So, what operator, plus, minus, times, divide, whatever, would total represent? Which one here? Correct. Addition. So we see that keyword there for total. That definitely means addition. All right. So that's really good. At least that's going to tell us a template about what we're going to be using here in this particular problem. Now it says here we have to add up all those numbers that we see there. So we get 92, 81, 83, 98, 15, 14, 15, and 12. Okay, and we're going to add all those up together. So let's go ahead and see what we get here. All right, so again, just go slow. Go one step at a time. No need to add all the numbers at the same time. So we got 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 plus 8 is 14. 14 plus 5 is 19. 19 plus 4 is 23. 23 plus 5 is 28. And 28 plus 2 is 30. Carry the 3 here. 3 plus 9 is 12. 12 plus 8 is 20. 20 plus 8 is 28. 28 plus 9 is 37. 37 plus 1, 38. 39, 40, and 41. So here the total amount of points here is 410 points. Okay, so just did it one step at a time to do lots of additions, but nothing too crazy going on here. Okay, let's go ahead and look at letter B. So the very next one there. Go ahead and move this over. Can I move this over? Yes, I'll move it over here. I want to be sure you guys can read that. All right, so here is going to be our problem right there. All right, so let's take a minute or two. Let's have you give that problem a try. Okay, let's see what you get. This is. If you do have a question, feel free to ask based on what we're talking about, or if you like just to listen and learn something, absolutely. Welcome to our little corner. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. If you need math help and I'm online, feel free to ask, okay? You got 480. Yeah, no problem. 6. That's cool. Got 480 for that. Okay. I think, Samantha, you're forgetting the first 78 here. Make sure you add that part in. I think you just might have missed that 78 up there. Yeah, come on back, my dude. Yeah, there we go. 558. Okay, let's go ahead and confirm that this is true. Okay. So let's take a look here. So we're going to add up these numbers here together. 78 plus, again, the 64 plus the 118, the 102, and 196. We add together slowly here. Let's see if we indeed get 558. So 8 plus 4, again, I lined up these numbers here. So 8 plus 4 is 12. 12 plus 8 is 20. 20 plus 2, 22. 22 plus 6 is 28. 2 plus 7, 9. 9 plus 6, 15. 15 plus 1, 16. 16 plus 9, 25. And we got 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so the answer indeed is 558. What is this? Customer contacts. All right, fine. Okay, any questions about that? Okay, hopefully that's not too bad. All right, let's look at the next problem here. So just a few more, again, application problems so we can get used to it. All right, let's do it. All right, so all this stuff here. So the number of miles driven this year is 3,028 fewer than the number driven last year. The miles driven last year was 16,735. Find the number of miles driven this year. All right, so again, let's focus on the keyword here. What's the keyword here? Ah, yes, that's correct. The keyword is indeed the word fewer. Okay? And what does fewer represent? What operation does fewer represent? All right, subtraction. Good. Okay, now, one thing that's going to be very important in problems like these is that since we have claimed that subtraction is going to be the way to be here in this problem, remember that order matters in subtraction. Okay, so we're going to subtract two numbers together, but order definitely matters. Okay, so because then the problem and the answer could easily change. So how would we set up this problem here if we're going to solve for the number of miles driven this year? How should we set up this problem? All right, be careful about this one. Yeah. All right. Very good. So let's talk about the interpretation here. Okay. In this case, it's 3,028 fewer than the number driven last year. And we're given the number driven last year as 16,735. Now the thing is that it's not always going to be first number first minus second number second. You have to look at it carefully here because in this case it's 3820 fewer, so again we're subtracting off 3028 here, so that's why it's written here as 16,735 minus 3028. So that's why, again, order matters here when it comes to subtraction, so be very careful about that. Okay, you cannot assume anything in mathematics. So one thing that you can't do is assume anything, because the moment you assume something, math pretty much slaps you in the face. So obviously that's not a great feeling. So in order to avoid getting slapped in the face with mathematics, again, look at it carefully and be like, all right, if it's less, if I said 2,000 less than that, then of course I'm going to subtract 2,000. So same idea here. Yeah, subtraction is a little tricky, that's for sure. No question. Oops. Okay, well, let's figure out what we get for this problem. That'll be kind of important. So here we get, we're going to borrow 1 from the next column over. Let's get 15 minus 8, which is 7. 2 minus 2, which is 0. So 7 minus 0, which is 7. 6 minus 3, 3. And 1. So our answer here, 13,707. All right. Okay. Now let's go ahead and have you guys give another problem a try. Okay, so let's have you do, well, I did that one last class, so, well, yeah, let's have you do that one. Okay, so let's have you do letter B. All right, so we'll take another minute here. Let's take another minute or two, and I want you to go ahead and try letter B. Once you got the answer, you can do that. All right, 13,683 is what we get here. Okay, let's go ahead and take a gander. Yeah. All right. So in this case here, just from a realistic perspective, right? Thanks, Six. I really appreciate that. You know, I only got started here streaming just because of the virus. So, I'm taught for quite a long time, but yeah, I just try and keep it as simple as possible. So, try not to make it too complicated, so it's like easy to understand. All this is, pre-algebra. It doesn't matter. Anything you try and keep it as simple as possible, so you can grasp onto things. It's chill, man. It's chill. I promise you. All right. All right. So this association had 14,000 bucks, 14,863 in their club treasury, and they spent $1,180. They sent out a check for bills and whatever, maybe club supplies. So then we go ahead and we figure this out here. Again, this is going to borrow 1, so take that to a 7. This is 16 minus 8, which is 8. 7 minus 1, which is 6. 4 minus 1, 3. And 1. So indeed, that's correct. $13,683 is spot on. All right. So far, so good, guys. You guys are doing really well. All right. I ain't going to complain. All right. All right, no problem. Okay, any questions so far, by the way? I'm going to talk about that after we're done here today, Patricia. I will definitely acknowledge that. Yes. Because I have more details to fill in besides when the test is. So I'll acknowledge that after we're done. All right. Now, we're almost done there, Patricia, just to let you know. So we're getting close to being finished. So I'll be talking extensively about the test, I promise you. Okay, let's focus on. I'm hurt. I'm a math. I'm a math professor. Come on, Samantha. I'm supposed to hurt your brain. That's supposed to happen. Come on, haven't you heard haven't you heard all math professors are evil? I just happen to be a very good one. You know, I'm just saying. Yes, evil. Gotta be evil. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this example. Oh man. All right. All right. In May, a landlord received $720 from each of 8 tenants. I'm a good one. Oh man. I guess I'm not doing my job right. I gotta do the evil things. Come on now. I gotta stop. I gotta stop being good. Kind of focus my energy to the dark side. It wouldn't be so bad. Hmm. I'd be like, Mwahaha. No, practicality over being evil any day. I like practicality. That's a pretty good one. But thank you, I appreciate that. All right. So let me reread this question here. So, in May, a landlord received $720 from each of his or her 8 tenants. After paying $2,180 in expenses, how much money did the landlord have left? So, let's think about this one here. So, this is going to be, say, a two-step problem to figure out how much money the landlord has left. So, let's take a look here on how we can do that. First, let's look at it from a big picture perspective here. Okay, so from a big picture perspective here, in this case, all we're going to do is figure out how much money the landlord got when he or she collected all the rent. So actually, I'm going to do this here. Yeah. We'll go to rent total here. Okay. So the rent total here is going to be 720 times the 8, since we collected 720 bucks per tenant. So we got 8 times 0, which is 0. 8 times 2, which is 16. Carry the 1. 8 times 7, 56, plus 1, 57. Now, he or she needs to pay some bills, all right, for each of the units. So that's going to cost $21.80 total for all the bills, like gas and water and trash or whatever. So we're going to take our 57.60, and then we'll subtract that from 21.80. And so we get 0, take a 1, 16 minus 8 is 8, 6 minus 1 is 5, 5 minus 2 is 3. So our final answer here, in this instance, is going to be 35.80 in this case. Okay? So we have 35.80 would be our final answer for this problem. Yeah, I'm going to be talking about that once we're done here today, DJ. So I'll be like in 5 minutes, I'll be talking about the test there. Okay. So next, what I would like you to do here is I would like you to go ahead. We'll give another minute or two here. I want you to go ahead and solve for letter B here. Okay. So an internet book company had sales of 12,628 books with a profit of $6 for each book sold. If 863 books were returned, how much profit remains? All right, so let's give that a minute or two for you to figure out. And then once you have your answer there, go ahead and type it out. We take off points if we don't put variables. But we didn't do any variables in this chapter. So, I mean, no. Oh, yeah, a point could get taken off for that. So just like label says, okay, this is money, or this is like, like 2,000 bolts or something. I may just take 1 point off. So I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah. It's all right, no problem. Context is important when labeling, so. Okay. All right, you got 75.90. Let's see what other people get. Mm-hmm. Basic multiplication, yes. 75.90, okay. Hey, Civil, did you see that Alec Mills no-hitter? I had to. I have to. I have to ask. Oh, you gotta go to the doctor's office. No problem. Well, if you do watch the Alec Mills Chicago Cubs no-hitter from Sunday, that's an amazingly well thrown game. Looked like a second Hendricks out there. Okay, anybody else with an answer? Otherwise, I'll go ahead and show this off here. Okay. Well, this can be done in a couple of steps. So let's go ahead and take a look here for this one. All right, so we first need to see how much we made after selling off all our books. Again, there are two ways to do this problem. So there's definitely multiple ways to do this problem. So either way. So here we're going to take 12,628. We're going to multiply that by 6. Let's see what we get here. So we get 8 times 6, which is 48. All right, and so we'll carry the 4. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 4 is 16. So carry 1. 6 times 6 is 36, plus 1 is 37. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 3 is 15. And 6 times 1 is, carry the 1 here. 6 1, 6 plus 1 is 7. So $75,768 is how much we made in profit by selling all those books. But 863 will return. So we're going to have to give back those $6 profits there. So 3 times 6 is 8, 18. 6 times 6, 36, plus 1, 37. And then 6 times 8, 48, plus 3, which is 51. So now we're just going to subtract both of these values. Again, just doing one step at a time here. Don't forget to line up these numbers here. So 8 minus 8, 1. We'll make that a 16. That becomes a 6. 16 minus 7 is 9. 6 minus 1 is 5. 5 minus 5 is 0. And 7. So that's correct here. $70,590 is the correct answer. All right. You can also see here the next chapter. Yeah. I'm sure all of you are looking forward to the next chapter. Let the hate train commence. All right. Are there any questions about that example? Hi, Noctis. How are you? No? Noctis, are you a Tekken 7 player? Is that why you're S tier? Yeah, it's just a math class, my dude. I knew it. See? I knew it. At least the Tekken 7 scene's still up and at them. So was watching, man, like the beginning, like Arslan Ash and everybody like that. Oh man, it's fun watching all those guys play. Hey, nothing wrong with somebody who loves Tekken 7. No. There. 2 words of advice: get good. play the play the Pakistani gods. play the Japanese and Pakistani gods of Tekken 7. Like, you gotta learn frames and stuff. You gotta really learn frame data in that game. Anyway, okay, if there are no more questions about that, I want to talk about the test, okay? So let's talk about the exam here. So the test here, I haven't posted it up to my math lab. I'll be posting that up either today or tomorrow. Yeah, 6, you have a great one. You take care of yourself, my friend. So the test here, the test is due at 11:59 p.m. on next Tuesday. So next Tuesday, so you have plenty of time of which to do it. All right, so give you a week ahead of time here. All right, so the test is going to be due next Tuesday at 11:59. Now, a couple of things here just to kind of let you know about how it'll work here for the test. Number one, there'll be a time limit on the test, but the time limit will be pretty long, so I don't think you should have a problem finishing up all the problems in the amount of time. So the test will be, I think I'll give be given as, say, I don't know, 3.5 hours long or something. Uh, I'll figure it out. Um, you get 2 tries. Okay. Um, best score is recorded online. All right. So you get 2 tries. All right. And the best score will be recorded online. Now, that score that's recorded online is not necessarily the score that will be recorded on D2L. And the reason why is because of this. And that is that what I would like you to do is, I'm not going to be sure just yet, but at most, I'm putting a hard limit on the number of questions here. At most 30 questions. So at most. So I don't plan to do more than 30 questions because I feel that that would be too long. So if I give like 25 or 30 questions, I think that's a pretty fair amount. But anything more than that, and it gets to be too much. So, but max 30, I can guarantee you that. Now, what I would like you to do here is I'm going to set up a Dropbox. No, if you're fine with your first score, perfectly okay. It's your option. I give you 2 tries, but you do not have to take the second try over if you don't want to. If you say you got a 95, you're like, I'm good. Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's a wonderful question, Patricia. The answer is yes. Okay, now the way this is going to work is I'm going to set up a Dropbox. So I'll set up a Dropbox in the assignments tab on D2L for a scan or picture of your work. One thing that I want you to be very well aware of is that the scan or picture must be readable. I don't have the greatest eyesight in the world, so if you take pictures, hey, please make sure that I can read your work. Now, the reason why is because I want to see what your progress is into understanding, if you're understanding how to do this material by hand. Okay, so like the long division, that's one thing. We did it kind of a separate way there. But for most of the other things, we did it by hand. So for example here, what would be considered proper work? Proper work would be considered as you see up here on the screen. All right, you show me, hey, you're carrying the 1, or how you multiply things together, cross out method, whatever. Okay, those things are things you're going to show me on your work. And so anybody can enter stuff in a calculator. That's easy, okay? But you got to actually show me how you get that answer, okay? If you don't show me the work behind that answer, well, then I will take off points for that. I might take off all the points for that problem. So I don't want to have to do that necessarily, so I want you to show me how you get to your result there for that problem. Okay, it's very important that write out the work there. Are there questions about that? Got a few more things to talk about, but want to be sure that that part's clear. Nope. Okay. Now, in addition to the test being due on the 22nd, the Chapter 1 homework, okay, Chapter 1 homework is also due that day as well. So, what homework we'll be doing? What we'll be doing this week? Not homework that will be due, but if you want to keep pace, the sections we'll cover here this week. We did cover section 1.10. We'll also cover 2.1 and 2.2. We may end up doing 2.3 as well, but it just depends. So that's what we're doing here this week. So we're going to do chapter 2 starting next time here. That's for sure. But the chapter 1 homework will all be due there at the same time of the test, 11:59 p.m., by the way. Not a.m., I promise you. So that's when all the homework will do. Now, in conjunction to go with the test that will be posted online on my math lab, in conjunction to go along with that, I will be also posting up a practice test. So you could try the practice test. Okay, you can see what kind of questions will be on the practice test. The test will mimic the practice test, so that'll give you a good idea, pretty good idea about what kind of questions to expect and stuff. My suggestion is to try the practice test and kind of work with it just to kind of get comfortable with the test format and everything like that, and then you can go ahead and give the actual test a try. Now, one thing about the practice test is, and like I said, I'll be posting that at the same time as the test. So if you do the practice test and you can get bonus points. So people talk about where can I grab bonus points? Well, here's our first opportunity to do so. All right, is if you do the practice test, bonus points are on the table. All right, so you give that a try, you get your practice in, make sure you get everything going, and then we get it done. So that's what we have kind of going on here. All right, so I wanted to kind of talk about that so that way it's clear about what the expectations are coming up for the following, coming up next week. Are there any other questions about the test or things? How much is this? How much of this is our grade? Yeah, it's on the syllabus there. So there are 5 tests in this class. So, and then there's of course the homework. So it's not worth a ton. So if you're worried about that, yeah, I could probably say like a little over 10% or so. But yeah, you can find that out on the syllabus there, and that'll tell you how much it'll be worth. Yeah, so basically, I'm trying to make this as low pressure, low key as possible, all right? Doesn't have to be crazy. But like I said, you will need to show me the work, so that'll be very, very important here. Make sure you drop off the work there once I create that Dropbox there. Any other questions? No. Yeah, chapter 1 homework is just chapter 1. Chapter 2 homework is just chapter 2. So just think of it as separate things. We're covering those sections this week. That's why I mentioned those here, because it was usually I interpret that as saying, oh, how do I keep pace with what we're doing in the course? Well, that's why I put 2.1 and 2.2. I didn't mean to confuse anybody, but that's what we're doing here primarily this week. So yes, that's correct. Yes, the test. That's correct, Sion. The test here was going to be on my lab math. Yes, or my math lab, whichever way you want to call it. So it's going to be all online here. Well, yeah, it doesn't have to be private. I feel that if you're going to share knowledge and share knowledge, it's all good, buddy. If you want to get better at Tekken 7, by the way, read Frame Data. Frame Data. I'm no good at Tekken 7. I've never played the game, but everybody talks about Frame Data. Um, no. So the answer to that, Chris, is no. That's why you'll write it on a separate sheet of paper and then either scan it or hand in a picture to me about the work there. Yeah, it's true, man. Tekken's one of those games you gotta continue to grind if you're gonna get better. Send me pictures through the Dropbox there. I'll have a Dropbox available, and then I'll be able to view it on my computer. The reason why I would like it on a Dropbox is because email can get scattered or lost, but this way I can actually see, I can actually have it, on the class shell. So it'll be easier for me to access, what you want to show me. Because I don't want to accidentally lose your work and be like, oh, I handed it in, be like, oh, I kind of lost it and deleted it, be like, oh, that sucks. So, yeah, I don't want to do that. So, I want to be sure that what you have should be seen and represented. Oh, yeah, you just kind of like drag and drop files. So, um, I have to set that part up myself. So that's not a you problem. That's a me problem. If it doesn't work out, I'll let you guys know, and then maybe we'll do the email then instead. So I'm just trying to do this out with the Dropbox to make it easier for you guys. It'd be more convenient. So, uh, yeah, you could take them on your phone and then transfer it over, or transfer it to your computer or something, or kind of whatever. Uh, yeah, that's something you'll have to kind of do. So it's yeah. So yeah, either send it to yourself on the computer or use a transfer program that'll transfer. That's fine. You could transfer that using a program that'll let you transfer phone data over to your PC. So there are ways that you can work with that, definitely. But first things first, let's focus on the exam here first, okay? Any other questions? Any other questions at all? No? Okay. All right. So the test will be out either later today or tomorrow. I'll be putting that out along with the practice test and setting up the Dropbox. And I also put an announcement there on D2L letting you know once everything's set up and whatnot. For the love of math, exponents are evil, you're stuck. Oh no. need help with some exponents there, we can go over a couple examples there. All right, so that'll take care of our regular class here for today. If you have any more additional questions, you don't have to do the practice test, but the practice test is for bonus points. So definitely worth your while if you want to do the practice test. Homework is 1.10. The practice test or the test, so nothing's been posted yet. I will post the practice test and test either later today or tomorrow, and then you'll have access to it. Okay. Like I said, 110. Anybody have any more questions before I duck out? I do have office hours here, but we all right. If you'd like to see me for, yeah, we'll see you Thursday, my friend. Absolutely. All right. If you'd like to see me for office hours, I do have that at 12:30. I'll be back in like 15 minutes or so. If you do need help, again, feel free to email me, and then I'll be back online if you want me to. If I don't receive any emails, then then I guess we'll just kind of end things off there. So, all right. So that'll take care of it for today. Everyone, thank you very much again. I really appreciate the time for you to coming on out on the stream here today. I will see you guys on Thursday. All right. For those of you who are just sitting and chilling, hey, I'll be back here online at 4 o'clock for my college algebra course, or I'll be back here tomorrow as well at 5 o'clock. That'll be all Central Time. All right. Okay. All right. Well, take it easy, everybody, and we will see you all later. All right. Have a great day, everybody, and that's cool, man. Good. I'm glad you're in my class right now. Awesome. That's awesome. All right. Take it easy, everybody. All right. You have yourself a good one. All right. And I'll be back in a little bit if you'd like me to. All right. Email me if you need help. All right. Bye, everybody.